right, welcome to Proximity Chat by SlappersOnly.com. My name is Adam, and I'm joined, as always, by Ryan and Chris, who's phoning in from the lovely city of Las Vegas. Got a good show today, so let's jump right into it. According to the Consumerist, EA is one of the top 4 worst companies out there. Is that a fair assessment or not?
Well, EA is... There's a lot of controversy around it, right? So... who are we to be the judge of how bad they are? Everyone has bad experiences. I know Chris has had a bad experience, but personally, besides a few disconnected customer service calls and all that stuff, I haven't really had a bad experience. I enjoy, Origin isn't that bad as everyone says. I haven't had any bad experience with them, but besides little things that would normally happen with any other company. So I don't know where everyone's hate comes from, really. Besides the fact that they're just another company trying to do their own thing.
See, I'm going to admit I have had some bad experiences with EA. Specifically with Origin. Origin is, in my opinion, one of the worst things to ever come out of a company. But on the other hand, I do like the direction that EA has taken in the last few years. They've taken a lot of risks on some original IPs. You look at Dead Space, Mirror's Edge, that kind of stuff.
More Dead Space love, huh?
What can I say, dude?
Can we go week to week without hearing about this?
No, you can't. It's going to be every single week for the rest of the time.
All right, I'm looking forward to that.
Like I said, I appreciate the fact that they've taken some risks, but on the same time, they do a lot of really dumb stuff with customer service, with their Origin, with locking up games and tying them specifically to Origin, keeping them off Steam and all this other stuff. That's where the hate comes from. It's understandable.
But you're protecting your own business in that sense. When you put out a game and you're publishing a game, you're going to lock it to your own service to make your own service better, to use it for people. That makes perfect sense to me. And I see nothing wrong with it.
I don't have a problem with them locking it to Origin, but they're cutting out people when they're only selling it on Origin. Sell it on Steam and then require Origin to run as well.
It's people would one still of those things lose they're running it into the ground. That's the thing. It's it's a company, and it's a business, and they're trying to do what's sound for the business, but in the court of public opinion, they're failing miserably, and eventually these people are going to start talking with their wallets. EA is, they're the biggest thing around, but they're shooting themselves in the foot. Nobody likes EA.
EA was one of the best companies years ago, and now what's changed?
Exactly.
The internet got behind them, and now it's it's cool to hate EA.
No, that's not it at all.
People
done
have
it to
hated
themselves.
EA since long before the Reddits and all this kind of stuff of the world, simply because of their stance. They were horrible for a time for their employees, not paying overtime, not paying wages, and that kind of stuff. That's pretty much when the EA hate started. And then,
but the internet doesn't get behind it when it's just that. They don't really care in a sense. When it's just, you're not paying your employees.
I said, EA hate has been around for a lot longer than Origin. Origin here is recent. The EA hate has gone on for years, and I'd probably say a decade. Well,
all I'm saying is I want to see EA versus Walmart in the final showdown, because if Walmart doesn't take it all, then
I'm going to throw in my nominee for Comcast in there because that is horrible. I've had no good experiences with them. So
no, I'll agree with that.
All right. Well, next up, we're going to talk about always on the internet. You have to be connected to the internet to play your games. Is this good or evil? What do you think?
I'm going to have to say that this is evil. Especially with some of the big games that are coming out now, there are better ways of protecting your game. There are better implementations of DRM than always-on internet connection. You buy a game, you should be able to play that game wherever you can. That's why they have, ultra-portable laptops with actual video cards in them. If I want to play Diablo 3 on a, transatlantic flight, well, I can't do that because I can't get on the internet while I'm on the plane. Or if I want to play it on a road trip or do anything to a game that I bought, I should be able to play it.
This is such a first world problem, man. People are complaining because I can't play Diablo 3 on a plane. My God.
You should be able to play your games whenever you want to play your games. That's why they put single player in Call of Duty, even though nobody plays it for single player.
Oh, no, only you, because apparently the single player is actually somewhat decent. So your little opinion of Call of Duty
single player.
The
point is, if you pay for the game, you should be able to play it. Because what if good old Comcast goes out or whatever, and you lose your internet connection for whatever reason, and you're stuck with all these games that you can't play because you can't connect to the internet for a reason that's completely out of your control.
You can find something else to play.
See, I don't know. I think
you can't. You don't have internet.
There's different sides. I mean, you look at a game like Diablo 3 where they actually have a cash shop, so they got to make sure that this game is airtight. You can't have any players messing with anything. And so in that instance, I'm not necessarily defending them, but I can understand why they always need to have the internet on. Otherwise, I think it's sufficient to have, internet registration when you first start it, but, to always have the internet on, like Adam says, there's a single player part to these games that you should be able to play regardless of where you're at.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it, and I feel like if the companies want to design a game where you have to be connected to the internet and connect to their servers to play, so be it. Then speak with your wallet again. It's the same thing with EA. God forbid, EA does this stuff where, I think SimCity, and that's where all these people are uproar about, SimCity possibly having to be always connected to the internet. It's a single player game. So I understand it, but it's the company's decision.
The company's decisions need to cater to the consumer. That's the reason these companies are around in the first place. You don't cater to yourself. You cater to what the consumer
Who doesn't
wants.
have internet nowadays, though? Seriously.
It's like I said, your internet could go out for reasons that aren't, that have nothing to do with you. And then you're stuck and you can't play this game. But you want to see rage, man. That would cause some rage right there. Anyways, moving on. Kickstarter is the crowdsourcing internet website. It's taken the video game industry by storm. What do you think? You think this is going to be good or bad?
No, I think this is bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, there have been good things to come out of it. Tim Schafer getting a new game out of this is awesome. But in my opinion, I think the bottom of this is just going to drop right out. There's only so many crowdsourcing things that people are willing to front the money for beforehand. Before, sooner or later, all these games, and you're going to have some awesome games get on there that just don't go anywhere. It's too much, it's too soon, and everybody is doing it now. You're getting big companies. You get guys like Obsidian trying to kickstart their games, and where does that leave the traditional publishers? Not only that, but what happens when these things fail? That's one of the benefits of working with a traditional publisher is that you get your money, you're somewhat guaranteed to get your game.
Yeah, where's that money go if that company goes under, or that game goes under? Then you're just out your $2,000, but you'll get a picture on the wall of the defunct company that never published the game. So where does that? What happens to that? Well,
it gives people the chance to invest in something they genuinely care about. And
I do see that. I think it's a good idea.
Whether it's a game, whether it's a startup company, whatever. People have the chance to invest in these games, and if they want to spend $2,000, $10,000 on a game, on development, on a game that's not even out, that you don't even know how good it's going to be, so be it. That's their choice.
Well,
and it's good for these companies.
Cool. It's a cool concept, and like I said, we've already seen some great things come out of it. I'm just afraid that the bottom's just going to fall out. Like I said, that you're going to see some cool games that aren't going to get their goals met, and what happens then?
No, these people are left disappointed, and Kickstarter is the only one to blame, right?
The thing I'm worried about is oversaturation. You're going to get all of these games popping up. And like you said, the good ones will be lost, in the mix, and I see I see both sides of it. I see the oversaturation effect where you're going to have everybody, it's going to be diluted. All these people are putting money into different baskets, and you never know what you're going to get out of it, if anything. So I don't know. I think it can be good and bad for the industry, but it's too early to tell right now. We haven't really seen we don't have a history behind it yet.
Yeah. History will tell. That's exactly the bottom line.
Well, next up, we're going to talk about this is a big one that's out right now, is the new consoles. This is only a rumor, so I don't know how much weight we should put behind this, but talking about not being able to play used games on the new consoles. That's the rumor that's out there right now. If true, I don't know what's going to happen to GameStop and such, but what do you guys think?
Well, what's with, it's no different really. I mean, if we're going to go digital distribution, which seems to be the trend here. What's going to be, where are used games going to come from, in a sense, for these consoles? And so I think that's a good point. Where are people going to come up with these used games if, digital distribution is the future for video games? That's just my thought on it.
Digital distribution is the future, but it's not everything, and that's not to say that the future is here. One of the rumors is that you're going to have basically your first-hand buyer is going to buy the game, and it's going to somewhat get rid of the online pass that's become so popular here. But then if they go to sell it at GameStop or something like that, the person who buys it then is basically getting a glorified demo, and they're going to have to pay the online fee or the unlock code to get the full game. And I see no problem with that, It gets more money to where it should be, and that's out of GameStop's hand and into the actual developers' hands.
Exactly. Because as of now, old games get nothing, or old game developers get nothing. But with digital distribution, in the first 3 months. So, that's why these guys are horrified with used games, and they have a right to be.
Well, that's where I guess I'm the consumer advocate here, but I think that not being able to play an old, a used game or an old game on a system, I think that's just it's bad for the consumer. Once again, basically it's getting old watching these companies fleece the consumer for every dime, but whether it be DLC or what have you. You should
welcome to America.
I bet you EA's hiring right now, Ryan. You could go. See if you can
I think I was looking at jobs the other day, and I think they are.
For them. No, I think
if they need a marketing rep, I'm all there, dude.
These companies are getting too big to see what they're doing, or they just don't care. They think they're so powerful that they can do anything that they want to do, and that these people are going to continue to buy these games. And in some cases, people are. They're going to.
They are
going to buy the games, and they might just gripe about it, but I think it's going to set itself up for an implosion, and it's going to all come crumbling down.
I'm going to go with it's too big to fail. Companies like EA, the famous words of it's too big to fail. The whole video game industry and everything. There's no way.
The thing with this rumor is it's going to require Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo getting behind it. All three next-gen consoles are going to have to either play used games or not. If one of them decides to not play used games, the other two are just going to sit there and laugh because they're going to get all that extra business.
I don't think they have the balls to do it, to be honest with you, because like you said, one of them's got to make this jump, and it's either going to be wildly successful or it's going to be company suicide.
Oh, then who does it? Who's going to be the most successful?
Oh, it's what?
Microsoft?
It's going to be Sony, dude. It'll be Sony. I'm calling.
The only thing they're good at
Sony's
is losing credit card information.
So then they're going to lose your internet, and you're going to lose your credit card information, and Sony's going to be the one that's going to try to pull this off. I can feel it in my bones.
I would say both Sony and Microsoft. They have the more similar systems.
The least ethics out of the three.
Right.
No, not necessarily least ethics, but they're business sense. You talk about business. These guys have the ears of your EAs, your Activisions, Blizzards, all that kind of stuff. If these big companies, they're the ones who are losing out the most on used game sales. If they are in Microsoft and Sony's ear enough, then I could see both Microsoft and Sony getting behind this next gen.
Yeah. Well, once again, it's just a rumor. It might not even happen at all. It might just been a sensationalist article. It was over there on Kotaku, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's pretty much all the time that we have for today. But join us next Monday for the next episode of Proximity Chat. Don't forget, if you have any comments or questions, contact us at SlappersOnly.